Solomon wrote, "Be careful what you think, because your thoughts run your life. Don't use your mouth to tell lies. Don't say anything that's not true. Keep your eyes focused on what's right and look straight ahead to what is good." Easy to say, right? Maybe harder to do. My name is Pastor Jim Wells, and I'm on staff right here in South Attleboro, Massachusetts, at Crossroads International Church. And how often do you find yourself misled, as Solomon says, by your own thoughts, our inner thoughts, our words, and even what's spoken to ourselves inside? It really matters. For if I can hold the power to run our lives, and I can dictate my choices with my mind, this is all the more reason to make sure that our thinking is based on truth and what God says. There's an old IBM software saying that says garbage in and garbage out. I don't know if you've ever heard that. It used to be actually a sign on the wall at IBM. You see, when we fill our minds and our thoughts and our hearts with the right things, the wrong things won't have any say in the matter. There will be no room to enter. His word, his truth, both offer protection. It's a guard over our hearts and our lives, and it helps us with our decisions and our thoughts. And yet it's not easy at times, because the world can be really great at throwing stones and hurling insults and just plain tossing discouraging words our way. And this results in a season of really getting off track. We get distracted, we look at other sources to give us wisdom, and we look for those same sources to give us direction. And if you're like suffering from depression, you know what I'm talking about, because your direction gets all jagged and skewed, and you don't know really which way to go. And that's just an example of how our innermost thoughts, if you're suffering with something that's egregious and tough, difficult. I just was saying this week to somebody that don't make hard decisions as you're in this time of depression. Wait till you get healthy again, and then make those hard choices. And many times we start buying the lie, and we start speaking negatively, and we also start speaking negativity to the point where we start defeating over our lives, putting defeat right into our lives. And then even that spills out over to those around us, and we start sinking deeper, and we start believing it's all true. And God knows you're vulnerable when you're under this kind of attack. And we're starting to allow those thoughts and those words to work against us and cause division or strife with our neighbors. Maybe that's why he gives wisdom to set a guard, a gate, a wall over our hearts and our minds, so we don't allow any thought or word to enter it. Another version says it like this: above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. That's the NIV. Above all else, with constant awareness and constant diligence, like a watchman on the wall, we guard and we protect it, keep it safe. And your heart basically means it's your innermost being, which represents the very core of your thoughts and your mind and your actions and your decisions. And that last part, for everything you do flows from it. It's the wellspring of life, and that's vital. It's a choice we make every day, all day, to protect our hearts, to be careful in just how we're thinking and what we're thinking, to make sure our affections, our energies are focused on the right things, to concentrate on the desires that push us towards a wise path, push us to the steps that are ordered from God himself, push us towards that. Jesus stated this in Luke 6:45, a good man brings good things out of the good stored up in his heart, and an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in his heart, for the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. Paul said also this very inspiring and practical teaching: let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. People are always going to be challenging you. People are always going to be looking at you. People are always going to be observing you, maybe even waiting to be critical of you. All of our life, maybe your family's life, or maybe even your neighbor's life. Truly depend on it. May God help us walk in wisdom and in grace so that our thoughts and our words and all that we focus on would bring honor to Him. And more than that, too, strength to our days. Strength to our days. I'm praying that for you, and may you have that kind of conversation that's full of grace. And you can talk to anybody about anything. I'll see you next week when we talk about how deep reflection produces success. Blessings. Thanks for listening.